So what if I told you that getting rich has less to do with how smart you are and way more to do with your emotions? That's the huge idea we're digging into today from Morgan Housel's amazing book, The Psychology of Money. So you can forget all those complex formulas for a minute. We're diving straight into the human behavior that actually builds wealth.
Welcome to Value Vest Daily. We talk a lot about health and lifestyle, and honestly, understanding our financial health is every bit as critical. Today, we're zoning in on how our brains really work with money, uncovering those hidden mistakes and powerful truths that might just be holding you back. If you're ready to upgrade your money mindset, you are in exactly the right place.
This one idea right here, it's the foundation for everything we're about to cover. It is a total game changer. Financial success isn't about what you know, it's about how you act. It's not some hard science, it's a soft skill. And that's both the biggest challenge and honestly the most incredible opportunity for every single one of us.
Okay, let's look at a real-world story that makes this crystal clear. On one side, you've got Ronald Reed, a janitor who just patiently saved and invested his whole life. And on the other, Richard Fuscone, a Harvard-educated executive who was living large on heavy debt. One guy died a multimillionaire philanthropist. The other went bankrupt. The difference wasn't IQ. It wasn't pedigree. It was pure behavior, patience versus greed. And that gap in behavior turned out to be way more powerful than any gap in education.
Now, just a quick heads up as we unpack these powerful ideas. Everything we're talking about today is for informational purposes. We're exploring the psychology of money, not giving out specific financial advice. So, as always, make sure you consult a professional for your own personal situation. All right, section 1, your unique money brain. Let's get into why we all have such wildly different ideas about money and how a choice that seems completely insane to me might feel perfectly rational to you. Think about this for a second. Our own personal experiences with money are just this tiny, tiny sliver of all the financial history that has ever happened in the world. And yet, those few experiences make up like 80% of how we think the world works. It means we're not really operating on data. We're operating on stories, our own very limited personal stories. And this leads to a really profound idea. No one is crazy. Their financial choices just make perfect sense based on their unique history. The person who hoards cash under the mattress because they saw their family get wiped out in a crash, they're being just as rational as the tech founder taking huge risks after a big win. Both are just reacting to the world they've personally seen. And just look at how the lottery of your birth year shapes that reality. I mean, if you grew up in the 60s and 70s, you saw a market that went absolutely nowhere. Your baseline is caution. But if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you saw the S&P 500 explode tenfold. Your baseline is growth. It's the exact same stock market, just seen through two totally different lenses. So let's move on to section 2 and see how this psychology leads to some pretty common behavioral traps that can absolutely sabotage your wealth. I mean, understanding our own minds is one thing, but avoiding its pitfalls, that is the real challenge. This brings us to a really central, nagging question. Why do people who have everything, the money, the power, the reputation, why do they risk it all for just a little bit more? Well, the answer often lies in a dangerous trap that catches even the smartest people out there. And that trap is called never enough. The hardest financial skill isn't picking the right stock, it's getting the goalposts to just stop moving. We see someone else with more, and all of a sudden what we have feels like it's not enough. This social comparison thing, it's a battle you just can't win, because the finish line is always moving. It's the engine that drove guys like Bernie Madoff, who was already unbelievably rich, to risk everything for even more. This brings us to a super important distinction, the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is what you see, the big paycheck, the fancy car. It's loud, it's visible. But true wealth is silent. It's the income you didn't spend. It's the investments quietly growing, completely unseen by the world. Wealth is what you don't see. And right there is the great paradox of it all. The more you spend to show people how much money you have, the less money you actually end up with. Real wealth isn't about impressing other people. It's about buying your own freedom and your own options in life. So, if we can avoid those traps, what positive strategies can we use to build and, even more importantly, keep our wealth? That brings us to section 3, the unbreakable rules for building and keeping it.
Okay, let's talk about the almost magical power of compounding, and there's no better example than Warren Buffett. We think of him as this investing genius, which he is, but look at this chart. The vast majority of his fortune was made after he was old enough for Social Security. His real secret wasn't just his skill, it was a staggering amount of time in the market. The lesson here is so important. Good investing isn't about a mad dash for the highest returns. Those usually burn out fast. It's a marathon. It's about earning pretty good returns you can stick with for decades. That is how you let compounding work its quiet magic. I mean, Buffett's been doing this for over 80 years. And this highlights a really critical point. The skills you need to get wealthy are often the complete opposite of the skills you need to stay wealthy. Getting there, that takes bold risks and optimism, but staying there requires humility and a healthy dose of paranoia. That constant awareness that you could lose it all just as fast. It's all about survival. So this all leads us to the ultimate question in section 4. What is the actual point of all this? What are we building wealth for? It's not about having the biggest pile of cash when you die. No, it's about something much more valuable. The answer, in one single, powerful word, is freedom. The greatest thing money can buy is control over your own time. It's the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. That's it. This quote just sums it all up perfectly. Having a strong sense of control over your own life is a way better predictor of happiness than your salary or the size of your house. The ability to wake up every single morning and say, I can do whatever I want today, that is the ultimate priceless return on wealth. So let's boil it all down to 5 unbreakable rules to remember. Number 1, less ego, more wealth. 2, manage your money in a way that helps you sleep at night. 3, use that money to gain control over your time. 4, always, and I mean always, leave a wide margin for error in your plans. And 5, save just for the sake of saving. Life will always find a use for it, trust me. So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. After hearing all of these powerful lessons, what is the one behavior, the one small change you're going to make in your financial life starting today? If you found this breakdown of the psychology of money helpful, please consider subscribing, liking, or even sharing it. We really believe that understanding these kinds of ideas is the first step toward making better decisions for our health and happiness. And hey, one last thing. We would love to hear your answer to that final question down in the comments. What one behavior are you going to change? Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for joining us.